Pipe Network presents.
On this episode of Season 4, Let's Talk.
Started with this one. This is a Michael Jackson Funko Pop. It's him in his video of Smooth Criminal.
Yeah.
So this is one of the 2011. I got this in 2011. MJ, I think it's been a year, I think, since Michael Jackson died, and then
2009, I
there's
presume. Big Michael Jackson fan, since you're
there you go.
asking.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So,
Hey folks, welcome back to the Rajiv show. And wow. It's been a journey, so to say. It's been a crazy journey. First of all, we've reached the 57th, and of course, as you can tell by my excitement, I had a celebration earlier on the recording of this conversation because we celebrated the 50th, and now we are the 57th, and we're pushing to 65, which is a record high. And this is the coolest record that I've ever set in the Rajiv show. So enough bragging. I want to bring in my guest and an inspiration to my Instagram creativity, who opened my Instagram creativity, a cool, down-to-earth, former flight attendant. Will figure that out if I got it right. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest is Me-Ann Maximo. I hope I pronounced the last name right. Hello.
hi. That is actually Me-Ann Maximo.
Oh, Maximo. All right. I don't know why I went British.
Yeah, alright.
So
Yeah. So it's Maximo. But fun fact, my great grandfather is Maximino Maximo.
Okay. So at least my mistake was thanks to Granddad. I saved my own.
Yeah.
So
My
yeah.
great granddaddy.
Welcome to the Rajiv show. Finally, this was how long has it been? Guys, before I actually get into the story, give a little bit of short background on how I actually invited my guest. If you haven't also on the social media part, Me-Ann, I actually messaged her podcast at the time called Mabuhai Maxima, which is a lovely piece of Instagram content. And then I sent her a personal message there, and then I think around 1 year into her celebration, I think she was celebrating her 1 year of Mabuhay Maxima. That's when I started communicating via, of course, her live thing, and I was annoying at that time. I think I even won something, I remember, but I gave it away because I just wanted to be a part of that moment. So funny. From then on out, she was apologizing to me, and then I said no worries, and then we had fun. Basically, we had fun getting to know each other, and then it was an amazing thing. And I'm sure she agrees with me, or else she has some other story. I'm sure. Please do tell your side of the story.
Well, the audience might not know why I was apologizing. Just one of the many reasons why I was apologizing was I was doing the FB Live, right? Celebrating my first year anniversary. And then, of course, the people who were commenting had these little circles underneath my screen. You can barely see the profile pictures. So he was using his personal account, and I didn't know him. And then all I see was black and white, and it was long. His hair was long. So I assumed it was a girl, and I was like calling her, she, until during the live he commented, "By the way, I'm a he." And I'm like, on the live, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, it's so embarrassing."
Oh man, that was
I get embarrassed by that memory. Oh my god. It's just so nice that Rajiv was being such a good sport about it. Because like half of the FB live, I was calling him a her, a she, a lady. Oh my god! All because I thought she was a girl because she had I can see long hair on the profile
Yeah.
picture.
Wow,
And of course, I was not aware uh of his name. It was not Filipino, so it was not Filipino. It was not English. So I didn't know if it's a boy's name, a girl's name, Rajiv. Yeah, well, long hair. It must be a girl. And like, yeah, apparently I was wrong.
So yeah, so that what an opening, and yeah, and with love, of course. Always love. I always share the love, and the one story led to the other, and now we're here. We're here in this conversation, and it's been interesting. Speaking of interesting, could you give a little bit of background aside from the enormous, gigantic opening that I gave? A little bit of background about yourself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Me-Ann Maximo. As per another correction, I am still a flight attendant. I am a flight attendant by profession. I fly domestic and international. The confusion comes in because it's the pandemic. Ever since the pandemic started, I went on indefinite leave, but I'm still quite employed. I do have plans? Yum yum. I do have plans to go back to flying.
Yeah.
Most likely by the end of this year, I'll be flying again because I
Wow.
really do miss it. So yeah, I'm a flight attendant. I am also an author. I have my own book. Currently, I just recently what do you call this? I recently opened my own Instagram art shop, and I stream games which whenever I feel like it, just to help me keep myself sane. And of course, if I don't know if this will be on video, but if you're watching me right now, like you can see my background. So as you can see, I collect toys and books, and basically I'm a big kid. Hello.
Awesome. Okay, you unboxed a lot here. We're gonna talk about flying, reading a book in the air, painting something in the air, and collecting in the air. This is gonna be interesting. I just put that all in one thing. But before we actually go into that, coming to think of it, I haven't actually done a video kind of thing. But let's see. If this becomes a video thing, that would be awesome. Um,
Yeah,
before we get into that part, I want to take this back in a time machine. Let's get into a time machine, and then
Okay.
I wanna ask you, who are you if you and I were classmates in high school? Are you the shy type, the introverted, or are you the person who has a lot of guys around, or always in the books, always hiding beneath the bleachers, avoiding everybody, and saying if you and I were classmates in high school, who were you in high school?
All right. You know Mean Girls?
Yep.
Okay. So, you know Regina, the other girls, Lindsay Lohan,
Yeah.
the bestie of Lindsay Lohan. And do you know who I was there? I was the extra in the lunch table in one scene, like very far off. You can see a kid running by. That's me.
Interesting.
Like, honestly, I am the most. I'm actually the saddest kid in school. Like, I'm the popular one. I'm always in a corner. I don't talk much unless I'm spoken to, of course.
Huh.
My best. I have a very small circle of friends. And you would find me if I'm not in the classroom. Of course, I mean, it's school. You're supposed to be in the classroom. If
Yeah.
I'm not in the classroom, I'm in the library. That's the only place in the whole school where I will go. Like I'm not popular. I don't
Interesting.
speak out. I don't do orgs. Not because I'm lazy, okay? I
Huh.
don't do orgs because my parents are strict and they want me home before 6 o'clock. And of course, if you join a student organization, you have to stay after school. And they
True.
don't
True.
want that. So no org for me.
Huh.
And yeah, I am basically the kid that you will definitely forget. Yeah, that's me. That was me.
A follow-up question to that is, are you an introverted, extroverted, ambiverted, inverted kind of character?
Right. According to my MBTI, I am an ENFP. So I'm more of an extrovert, but in the scale, if there's the scale.
Yeah.
So I'm almost at the very middle. It's just like a little bit on the extrovert side, but I'm almost at the middle. I need that downtime. I actually need that downtime. But when you get to know me, when I get it going, like right now, like I talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yeah. I noticed. So yeah, this is really a pretty interesting opening. I really like how the narrative of the storytelling is, and girl from the back is now girl in the Rajiv show, who is sharing stories and writing books and painting and collecting, and it's such a huge leap. It's kind of like a very very
I
leap
know,
from.
right?
It's really really fascinating. I would love to tackle flight attendant, but I want to tackle that on the second half of our conversation. First,
Yeah, of
uh,
course.
because I like to put all the important stuff actually on the second half. Let's talk about author.
Ooh.
What's how did that
Right.
started? I know
Oh my god.
introverted, close-minded. Sometimes I don't mean to say close-minded. People who, like you mentioned earlier, people who are back in the backdrop, or you said you mentioned earlier. You're the kind of person who is in the backdrop of a movie, and the
Right,
last
right.
girl in the canteen, and you mentioned that. So I'm sure people like you, I don't mean to categorize, are people who have their own creative side and they have their own creative bottle, where they just drop ideas and build stuff. I'm sure you're that kind of person, right? I presume from high school or from certain age.
I guess so, because my growing up, I had no choice because my parents were strict growing up, so I was not allowed to go out much. I was not to go out to a friend's house, sleepovers, whatnot. So I was always indoors. So I had to have a creative outlet, or else I'll be insane. So yeah, I was. As far as I can remember, I was drawing, I was painting, I was doing arts, I was reading. But as per the author thing, I didn't do that until I was already an adult. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
I never thought, I never had the idea that I will be a writer someday. My idea was I love reading, I'm just happy to read. I never assumed that I will be a writer. I never thought of that. It's just that um being an author started when I was training as a flight attendant.
Oh,
Um
okay.
yeah. So this was I straight out of college.
Hmm.
So I was waiting for my ticket to be a flight attendant, and when that ticket came, I went straight into training, and let me tell you that, I don't know, 5 to 6 month training course was harder than my whole career as a student.
Oh,
Like, I would rather go from kinder to fourth year college all over again than to go through that 5 month training course all over again. It was
wow.
so hard. And I barely had any time to do my creative outlets or to just think of anything else.
Huh.
But at the same time, me being too focused on my training, I was my mind was everywhere. It's like I was going crazy. The stress is there. It's like the real stress is there. Like um my only indicator that I was really, 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 really stressed out was, I'm sure you won't relate because you're a guy, but
Huh.
Ladies, when they are on their monthly thing, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes due to stress, you skip that. It doesn't happen. It
Oh.
happens for the next month or 2 months after because of stress. You're so stressed out, your body can't function right. The organs down there doesn't know if they should produce more eggs or not because you're already stressed out as it is. They think that giving you a chance to have a baby might even stress you out more. So they'd rather skip this month and wait for you to be better.
Ah.
So that
Okay.
happened to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had none of those for half of the training session, and
Oh
I
my
was regular
gosh.
my whole life, by the way.
Huh.
Yep. So I was getting crazier by the minute, and my creative outlets, right? I was drawing, I was painting. It
Yeah.
was too time consuming.
Huh.
I didn't have the luxury of time because I need to study. I need to
Yeah.
study all the time. It's like if I need to have an outlet, it has to be short, quick, and whatnot. So
Yeah.
it started there because I was watching. There's one time I watched Thor the movie. Okay, Thor the
Thor.
movie,
Yeah.
and then like Thor, God of Thunder.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Thor the movie, and then this scene wherein Loki discovers that he's a frost giant. Like he goes into the vault, gets the casket of wonders. Odin is there, and then that famous line, "Tell me," that thing. I was
Yeah.
like, for some unknown reason, I was like, oh my god, I feel so bad for him. Like my brain suddenly went haywire. It went like, what could I wonder what he was feeling during that time, his journey, walking down the what do you call this, walking down the hall towards the vault. I was like, his mind must be breaking apart before he even found out. And I was like, for some reason, I need to write it down. So I wrote it down.
Huh.
That Loki was this, Loki was that, blah 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 blah. And then I'm like, oh, that felt nice. I'm like I felt my stress go out of my body and went into the paper. And then I was like, that felt really nice. So
Ah.
um I
Wow.
posted it online. I'm like, let's post it online, and then people liked it, and I'm like, so apparently what I did was fan fiction. I didn't know that fan fiction existed.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
that's how I started. It was so fun. It was quick, like less than 5 minutes. I write something, and then my stress was out. So I started as a fan fiction writer for Marvel concepts, because I started with that one, and then it went on and it went on and it went on, and I'm still sane apparently, so it worked.
Huh.
And then a year later, I moved out of being a fan fiction writer and decided to write my own original stories, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Now I understand how powerful writing is, even in terms of pain, stress. Um, for those who are tuning in, I want to relate that to a story of mine, which I haven't shared. Most of my stories have always been repurposed, and I often wish that I could have some good stories. I noticed that the power of writing down your thoughts, even if it's a simplistic thing. Earlier on, when I was before this recording, by the way, folks, um, I'm preparing for a big project which will happen eventually next year, which is 2021. And then I was studying how I used to do what I do best. I'm not gonna unveil anything. That's why I'm just keeping this as cryptic as possible. And then I realized that I'm looking at the screen trying to figure this out, and I noticed that I cannot remember this even if I think as hard as I could, which made me realize that if I write it down, it makes more sense. And then I took a small piece of paper, that college, college kid that always forgets how to bring the one whole, one half, and all that stuff. I got a one whole sheet of paper which is left off from college, which I still use for minor notes. And then I just wrote down my thoughts, and then okay, this is what I can do. I have a step by step procedure, which is really interesting. And I do agree, writing is really thing with what you did. I'm proud of the fact that I assumed, for me, the usual ways for readers to convert into writing, readerism or writerism. It's like a religion now. Thing, more on them reading more books than you can ever imagine, and then one final day they take the courage to take that leap. But this is an unusual storytelling, unusual narrative that builds into its own, which is really really fascinating. And wow, it's really interesting. I mean, at least thing. So I gotta ask though, how many books have you released so far? I mean, from fan fiction, you mentioned fan fiction, to your own stuff.
Well, fan fiction stories, I shucks. A lot. Like I used to have this fan fiction account on Instagram. It's
Huh.
still alive, I think. Because I didn't delete it. I just ditched it. It's
Yeah.
still out there in Instagram somewhere. I wish I can tell you the what they call this, the
The handle?
username, but I can't remember myself. Yeah, I can't remember. It's there. I know it's there. I didn't delete it. It's there somewhere roaming in the internet. A whole account full of fan fiction one shots and whatnot.
Okay.
So I don't know how many is that. Then original stories, I have a couple on my Medium account. So
Medium.
you can
Okay.
check it out at medium.com/Mr. Maximo. So some of my original stories are there. I also others are in online publications here and there and everywhere. And
Awesome.
as
Awesome.
per officially published thing, where is it? 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 it Nope, it's not. There, it's here. Officially published thing. I have one book published in print.
Which is
It's this one.
wow.
Here you go.
Look at the artwork. It looks
Um,
lovely.
I know, right? Shout out to Angela Lagahit for making this for me. She's the best. So, this is Love and Other Wars. It's a collection of poetry. Don't ask why it's poetry. It's so far from my forte is short stories, fiction,
Yeah.
like romance, drama, adventure, fantasy. Then boom, my first book is poetry. Don't ask. It's
Okay.
just that. So yeah, of course it's still available if you guys want to check it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 40 poems inside. 20 of them are English, 20 of them are Filipino. So yeah,
wow.
Love and Other Wars. I have
Interesting.
I have plans to make another book, hoping that this time it will be, something of my forte. So I'm still thinking if it's a collection of short stories or I should make a full-fledged novel. I'm not sure yet, so let's see.
But,
so
wow.
yeah, there.
That's fascinating. I got an interesting question that might blow your mind though. If there is we know we got all these genres being created left and right. We got new genres that we don't even know exist nowadays, especially in forms of writing.
Right.
Since we're talking about writing and authorship, if you were to create, let's say the world just disappear, the idea of the word genre disappeared. If you were to come up with your form of genre, your form of storytelling, of course with your characters, with your narratives, with your thing, what would the genre name be? And how would you explain it?
Okay, dang son, that's so hard. Okay, dang, like when you say it has to be a name, it's like I feel that it needs to be short and witty, and then knowing my brain has an answer, but it's a very long and tedious answer. It's like it has no
I don't
capacity to
mind.
shorten it into a witty
I do not mind if
Like
it's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious as long as it's a one-word thing. I
I,
don't mind.
I wish I could make it that short. Uh, I hate you. Like
It's funny how I can hear the sound in the background. It's like you're thinking.
I'm literally chewing my nails out. I can't think. Like, it, like you know how a mind map works. So
Yeah.
it suddenly my brain went like, "This is your question," and then answer, and then I'm like, "Get to the point already, brain!" And then the brain is like, "No, more ideas. Answer. I'm like, "No!" It's like it's a dang. It has to be one word. I hate you. It's like the child of fantasy, memoirs, and drama.
So, fantasy, memoirs, drama.
And drama, cause I my style is I would write short stories, right? Really, really short. It's like say the setting of the short story could be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. That short, whatever happened during
Okay.
that time. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then during that time, I'll make a scene, and of course I write it in a very creative way wherein I really immerse you in and then make you feel that you are that person. You're
Yeah.
thinking what that person's thinking. It's like a memoir, but it's not yours. That's why I say fantasy plus memoir. And drama, cause I'm a drama queen. I love drama.
Interesting.
and it's like I more likely than not, I'll make you cry at the end of the short story.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
there, the brainchild of that. I can't think of a
that's
one word.
pretty
So do what.
that's a pretty interesting take into it, because it's a really interesting it's an interesting outlet. It's a interesting thing. And coming to think of it, it looks like if I were to paint a picture, it look like you're gonna make a movie out of it. If there are some directors, fingers crossed, some Filipino directors, if you come over to the Rajiv show and on the release.
I am free. I am willing to make a movie for free. Just put my name in there. I'm willing.
So yeah, we're gonna from that interesting, very exquisite, interesting question that I released. Of course, we're gonna transition into arts, and then before we actually transition into arts and flight attendant and collecting, folks, we're gonna have a short break, and then we will be right back after these few short messages.
Mainit na diskusyonan,
Masarap na kwentuhan,
malinamnam na usapan,
at nakakagising na balitaktakan.
parang kape lang. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Rhea Angeline.
Join us in our conversations at Coffee na Lang Dear Podcast.
Hey folks, welcome back. It was an insane first opening. Right off the bat, of course, we had an interesting opening about how to release your stress via writing, and background about our guests, of course, Me-Ann. I am not pronouncing her last name because I screwed it in the introduction. So earlier on we were talking about writing, high school and stuff like that. Now we're transitioning into artistry and collecting. Let's blend these two together. I noticed that you have a lot of pop, Funko Pop there, and then I also recall, I think it popped up in my home. I don't mean to be stalkerish or something, but I think it popped up in my home screen or either Facebook or Instagram. where I saw this lovely painting that you did, and I think it was a work in progress, or it was thing, and I'm sure it was beautiful towards the end of it. I didn't see the end of it. Like I said, it popped up in my screen as a work in progress kind of thing. So where do we start? We start with the painting, or we start with the Funkos? Where do we go?
Up to you, babe.
All right, let's go with the Funkos. I have a feeling Funko is gonna be more faster. So Funkos, where did that come from? Where did that come from, and how did that come from?
My collecting stint on Funkos.
Yeah.
Dang. It started with this piece. So
I like how ready.
show it.
It's very very.
They definitely have to do this, put this on video because I'm doing a show and tell day.
It was
Like
really
everything
quick.
is pretty rich. My book is here. My first Funko is here. What else do you want to add in here? Probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
interesting.
It started with this one. This is a Michael Jackson Funko Pop. It's him in his video of Smooth Criminal.
Yeah.
So this is one of the 2011. I got this in 2011.
Oh.
MJ, I think it's been a year, I think, since Michael Jackson died, and
Yeah.
then
2009, I
there's
presume. Big Michael Jackson fan,
there
since
you
you're
go.
asking.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So, MJ died recently, and then there's this thing worldwide called Free Comic Book Day. Free Comic Book Day is an event that happens worldwide every first Saturday of May. In every comic book store in the whole wide world, they're giving out free comics.
Okay.
So some comic book stores, besides giving out free comics, they put their titles on discount. They put specific sale items. So we went to Planet X Comics in Glorieta during that free comic book day, and then it was this, and then another Michael Jackson of him in his beaded costume, and another Michael Jackson of him in the bad costume.
Okay. Uy,
So
3 different eras. Yeah.
hmm,
Thriller, bad,
Yeah.
and bad. That's also bad from the bad era. Yeah.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're all in the same so white jacket, red jacket, black jacket. That's all MJ.
Ah.
So, and then it was selling for 1,000 pesos.
Wow.
So it's ang cheap, diba? Only because Funko was really new. It's almost non-existent. So my mom bought it for me kasi she knows that I'm a fan. So like, I'll buy you that you want. And my birthday just happened recently because my birthday is April 6th and it's the first Saturday of May. And then I think I don't know, maybe I got an honor reward or something. She doesn't buy me stuff just because there has to be a reason. So like, she bought it for me, 1,000 pesos, and I kept it. I had no plans of collecting it whatsoever. I didn't know that there was more.
Yeah.
I eventually found out when I was already flying.
Yeah.
Like that was already 2014, I think, and then
Yeah.
I saw in the US in toy stores there are a lot of Funko Pops, and then I'm like,
Wow.
whoa, like there's so many.
Is
like
this heaven?
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm like, you can't mistake the design because it more or less is like that. The square head, the
Yeah.
very blank eye, very simple design,
cute.
and it's the box. It's very cute. And then during that time, I just bought a cute one that I like. Probably is it still here? I don't know what's the next. I can't remember anymore the next one I bought. And then eventually I realized that Funkos, especially the old ones, cost a whole lot of money now. It's like it depends on the type of Funko, the design, they appreciate. And apparently this baby, the Michael Jackson one,
Yeah.
I bought it for well, not me. My mom bought it. My mom bought it for 1,000 pesos, right? So that's like 350 each.
Yeah.
Now, one of these babies, sell it to the right person, I can earn 10,000 pesos.
Wow, 10K. Easy. Wow, that's a
10K.
lot of cheese. That's a lot of cheese.
Yeah.
Even the pizza that I had was, yeah, even my pizza I had would, I'd have the highest cholesterol at that point. But that's a lot of cheese. Interesting,
Like I'm
interesting.
like, so yeah, I eventually started collecting, but what Funko does is, like, for example, Michael Jackson, for example, they will release all the possible designs of Michael Jackson. For Harry Potter, they release all the possible designs of Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Now, most Funko collectors do is, of course, you know this already. I know you have a frequent talk with this friend of yours who owns a store, right?
yeah,
Um, yeah, most Funko collectors do is they get a team, like for example Harry Potter, and they get all the Funko Pops of Harry Potter, as many as they can.
yeah,
So me, how I collect is I based it on sentimental value. So every Funko that I have here has a relative story to me growing
yeah,
up. So I don't have, like, for example, uh, I I I have the whole set of the Avengers. I don't have that.
yeah.
Probably I just have one because there's a specific reason.
Huh.
So yeah. So I don't have a whole set. I have pieces of story. When I that's my criteria when I collect Funko.
Interesting, interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I bit my tongue when I said Funko Pop story was gonna be shorter than the painting one now.
I know, right? I'm sorry. I told you. I talk a lot. Just let me know when you need me to stop talking, because once I start, like, blah 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 blah.
No, but I love it. I love the energy. That's the one thing that I
Oh,
enjoy.
thank you.
That's the one thing that I enjoy from these from the Let's Talk series that keeps me sane. Of course, what keeps me insane is the editing part. But what keeps me
All
sane
right.
is the conversations, and I love the conversations and the value, because you may never know what you can pick up from each value. Now,
That is
arts,
true.
arts. I hope I can share also. Like I said, I repurpose this story every time. Arts, for my end, arts, I grew up with arts. Basically, I remember the story that my dad used to say to every visitor when every time they come home and they meet me for the first time, is that when I was a kid, when I was a small baby, I used to wake up, I don't even wash my face or brush my teeth, and then I go approach the computer table, because that's where the coupon bond at bond papers, those coupon bond for printing.
Comfort bond.
So I used to go there and immediately pick up one coupon band, and I start doodling and I just do my thing. And then from then on out, the influence grew into stick figure comics, which was inspired by my high school friend who did this wonderful rendition of this rendition of X-Men, because X-Men Evolution was the cartoon that was popular at the time. So I was into the whole thing. And then after that, uh, after the end of that, it was X-Men, and then I started getting into crafts. I didn't really stay long with crafts, but the first thing I remember what I did with crafts was, I'm sure we've all done this, where we put a paper on top of a coin and you start scratching it like you're gonna win a lotto or something. That was the first time
Yes.
when I started falling in love with the craft, because when the craft is it is really beautiful with the craft, and then you can come up with many other stuff, but uh, that was in the craft side of it. I used to collect a lot of stuff, and then I used to make them like my toys. I used to have toys as well, but I don't know, I have some sort of connection to like I like to build toys. Like I used to collect like either boxes, and I make, and then from the X-Men Marvel phase cartoon stuff that I used to watch, I transitioned into wrestling. So I used to collect all these boxes, certain boxes that I get from my dad, and then I start making WWE wrestlers. I mean, I used to buy the trading cards. They used to sell the trading cards in India, so I used to buy, and then they have the information there is guys 6'4", the weight and height and all that stuff. I do not know what a 6'4", as an artist. I don't even know what a 6'4". I didn't even know what inches were at that time, even though I was in high school. So what I do was I just did it via my eyes, the way I saw them in the screen. I just copied that and I put that into my character, and then I put some muscles, like I put some cotton. I remember I did an Undertaker version where the chest was so huge. The chest was so huge. It was a combination of ink, cotton. I remember plaster for the skin to get that skin tone. And on the plaster, I put some marking, just like like the inking or the thing, and then electric tape. So for the suit and everything, and yeah, I spent hours like building these stuff when I was young, and then I outgrew that, and I went back into the old narrative of creating comics. And it was funny, in relation to the celebration of my 50th release, is that there was this year that I spent my 8th standard. We call it 8th grade, I think is the word here in the Philippines, but in India we call it 8th standard. In 8th standard, I remember.
Okay.
In 8th standard, I remember that entire year, I made a comic book from the starting of that academic year towards the end of that academic year, which was one of the worst years because I dropped out of high school. I still stayed consistent with my comics. I swear, from the beginning of the classes till the thing. And I remember sharing I used to draw in the bus. We used to travel, me and my sister, we used to travel in the school bus. So the moment school bus picks us up, and then I'll be drawing in the evenings. Everything is stuff. We're saying goodbye to each other. I'll just be sketching I'd be either sitting on the bench and sketching, and then till, of course, the end of that entire academic year. It was it was fun. So that basically, this is like my second attempt of consistency when it comes to producing stuff. So yeah. That's my art side of thing. It's just that's my art
cool. That's cool.
And yeah, now I'm doing podcasting, which is fun. It's art in itself as well. But yeah, the journey of being an artist, for my upcoming project, guys, it's also going to be art related. But you guys wait for it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, funky, and it's going to be delicious. Now I want to ask you, Arts, let's go to you. Let's go to how your thing is. Where did you start there? How did that start?
Okay, I think the year was 1990. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Art. Okay. Okay, I'll make this fast. I know I talk a lot. Okay. Art is my first friend. Like, my dad taught me to draw. My parents are strict, like I mentioned. So imagine, I'm not allowed to play outside. I don't have friends, so I have to make friends through the stuff that I draw on paper. Like, my dad taught me technique, like in the face, you make the circle, then the cross, then the eye is here, the other eye is here, then like that. So like, and then my friends growing up, since I don't have friends, was cartoons and the characters in storybooks. So I can't tell you how happy I was when have you watched it, the video of Steve of Blue's Clues?
Yes,
Like,
I heard this was circulating. A lot of people cried like babies, but I was wondering, I mean, I heard the stories, but I never really saw the thing. But I've heard the stories.
I was one of those people who cried because it was Blue's Clues, Art Attack, and Papuland. Those were the three cartoon shows that really fueled my creativity. It's like my dad taught me how to draw art, right? And then my
Yeah.
older brother taught me techniques. And then my initial knowledge was expanded because of Blue's Clues, Art Attack, and Papiland. You can't imagine when I saw
Art
that
Attack.
video, like the nostalgia was real.
Wow,
I was like, I
okay.
was crying by the end of it. I'm like, I'm not crying, you're crying. No, of course not. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm a grown ass lady. I shouldn't be affected by this. but yeah, like art was really my outlet, my expression. Like in terms of blues, because I remember I was a kid, I had my own, what they call this, handy dandy notebook. I have my own pen. I have my own thinking chair, which is just a random chair at the house that I always sit on.
And
And
then
I
you had
would
an imaginary dog?
my no, I don't have one.
I nearly got you.
I didn't go that far. I didn't go that far.
I nearly
didn't go
got
that
you.
far.
I nearly got you there.
but whenever there's a scene wherein Steve and Blue has to go to the kitchen, I would go to the kitchen also, and then of course we have a salt and pepper, and then I would pretend that that's salt and pepper in the show. That's the closest that I did. Okay, I don't have an imaginary dog. Man, it's making me sound crazy. It's already sad that I don't have friends growing up, man. Okay. Yeah, like that was my creative outlet, because I don't have much growing up. I didn't have much. I had toys. The occasional toy because it was a birthday ganyan, and the books. With my parents, they always think that they would skip the toys, but they would splurge on the books for me, because they always think that of course books will make me smarter. I hope they were right. Yet to know. but yeah, art was my creative outlet. Like really helped me growing up, like physiologically, emotionally, mentally, all the alleys. Yeah. Also physically, because I have a what do you call this? What's a calyo in Filipino?
I have no idea.
On my fingers going out. You know what I mean? The hardened skin along your fingertips because you keep on holding the pencil and then you're squeezing it too hard from holding it too long from the callus. Yeah. I have calluses on my fingers going up, so the physical thing is also there.
Interesting.
But yeah, art is a big deal, really big deal for me. Big deal, yeah.
It's funny. I looking back at it, I remember a TikTok video that I released, lessons that I learned from the Let's Talk series. This this is one interesting thing, because that was the first time I'm trying to get into the whole TikTok, trying to talk to a screen, but I'm talking to the screen, but I have to talk to the pinhole of the camera. I'm still nervous every time I do that, but now I'm getting comfortable, but I'm not looking at the camera. It's just that's the weird thing. But anyway, I diverted to the main point. There's this one lesson that I remember that I shared in the TikTok. One of those lessons that I learned from the Let's Talk series is that I remember mentioning that we all live similar lives, but in a different way. And the way I see it, when you mentioned that you grew up with art, I grew up with art. That was it. That you spent your whole half your life, or the rest of your life, basically. You're an artist regardless. Regardless if you're a flight attendant or a space flight attendant or a hyperspace flight attendant, you're still an artist regardless. And that the point that I was trying to get there is that we all live a same life, because for me, I also have my story which I shared, which is the lost years, where my relationship with art became it was like a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. One day I get fed up, I flip. I used to draw on an ironing board at that time in the house in India. I had a laptop, and every day, not the laptop, I had a computer, my dad's desktop. And for me to compensate for a drawing table, because I don't have a drawing table, I used the ironing board as a drawing table. So I put all my stuff there. So when I feel bored, I flip the book over and then everything falls apart. 5 minutes later, I'm sorry, darling. I get back all the pencils and all the stuff, and then start drawing again. It was like that on and off relationship.
Aw.
That was like the longest relationship from 2008 till 2015. And yeah, I mean, it's still, I still have a relationship with an art. Like I said, whether I'm a musician, whether I go anywhere else, like I said, hyperspace, flight attendant, whatever new stuff is gonna come out soon. I'm still an artist regardless, and that is the thing that I take pride in, which is interesting beyond beyond anything that I can explain. So yeah, that's
Right,
my side.
right.
Uh,
I really get you there. Yeah, it's like I remember I loved art so much. I wanted to make a career out of it. I wanted to be a famous artist, painter, something like that. Like to the point that I wanted my course to be in college to be fine arts, and then of course my parents. Yeah, I'm sure any normal Filipino creative with normal Filipino parents would agree that their parents did not agree because as per their parents they said that there's no money in art, so don't do that. I mean, if your parents supported you, your parents are abnormal. I'm letting you know right now. But of course my parents didn't support that, and they said there's no money in art, you need money to survive, like that. And I'm like, okay, fine. So like by college, I was already slowly dropping out the artistic side of me. And then I already became a flight attendant. I didn't do art for the longest time. And I thought that life was way behind me. And then at some point, you'll realize that once you started to be a creative, like no matter what your medium is, always go back. You'll always go back to that spark of creativity. You'll always look for it. Maybe not now, maybe not tomorrow, but some time in the future you will look for it. Like I have a colleague in the airline that I work for. Besides being a flight attendant, he was also a financial advisor, and he was really, really, really good. He was earning the big bucks. And then but in college growing up, he was into theater. He was really acting and all that, and of course he ditched that for the real world. And we need to pay the bills. And then the pandemic happened, and then we were talking regularly, and then lo and behold, he contacted me and said that he was in America. He resigned from the airline that we were working for. He went AWOL on being a financial advisor. He left everything.
wow.
He's in America pursuing his dream to be a theater actor. Like
Wow.
he had this thing wherein he was like, I'm done. Like I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to try out the thing that I really want to do for the rest of my life, which is to act. And then he like dropped everything, went to the US, and trying to make the most out of his dream there. It's like, wow, like
Wow.
so proud of you to have that guts. Yeah. Like, yeah, you
taking
always
that leap,
go
yeah.
back to your first love. Yeah. It's really amazing.
Is wow. I promised myself never to cry in any of these conversations, but man, wow. Now, of course, we've I do not know how how I'm gonna open this into flight attendant, because I like to use the metaphor of cooking, but since
Right.
okay, let me just try this metaphor. Let's see if it works.
Okay.
We've in the opening of our conversation, we've sizzled a vegetarian steak. Okay, let's just imagine there's a thing such as a vegetarian steak. So we put it in the grill.
There
That's the first
is.
There's a okay. We put in our first half of our conversation. We lay down the vegetarian steak on the grill, and then we dabbed it with some sauce and some collector sauce, some artist sauce, and some author sauce. And now it's time to get the stuff out to the grill and serve it to the people. Now I think it's time we need to get into the flying, which is flight attendant. I hope the metaphor worked. I was just, to be honest,
We'll make it work. Don't worry.
I was just improvising that, but yeah, you, you actually look really cute doing the whole thing there. For me, I'm imaginary doing it here in the background, but I'm not on video, which is really interesting. So yeah, flight attendant, the story there. You mentioned earlier, family said, nope, arts is not really going to make money. In one way or the other, in the real world, especially in the Philippines, yes, I think art is being underrated. I think it's in a way it's becoming underrated because they focus more on the Filipino pride rather than improving and moving forward, which is supposed to be the thing.
Right.
And I'm sure you agree with me on that. So, flight attendant. Why that of all the courses? You would have been. There's possibility of scientist. There's a possibility of teaching English, or there was a possibility why flying. What draw you to flying?
Okay, it started in 2000 and
You went from 1990 to 2000. Wow. We got timelines.
Oh no. I think it's 2000. Oh yes, 2007. 2007.
Okay.
I was in second year high school, and then my older brother just got in the airline industry.
Mm.
He didn't plan to be a flight attendant. He just applied randomly. He got accepted, and then he's a flight attendant. And then my mom loved the job so much, like the flying, the perks, and for her the best part is the transportation, the house,
Wow.
the place work. Yeah. So in 2007, I was second year in high school. She told me, "Me-Ann, I don't know how to say this because I'm legally not allowed to say where airline I'm working for.
Yeah, no
But
worries.
it's like, for example, let's say, like for example, Me-Ann, mag-ABS-CBN ka." Okay, she did not say Me-Ann, magiging artista ka, or in that sense, Me-Ann, magiging flight attendant ka. You're gonna be a flight attendant. No, she was very company specific. Like she said, the company
Okay.
that my brother was working for. Me-Ann, mag-ABS-CBN ka. Me-Ann, you gotta be part of ABS-CBN. And then, like for example, but let's replace ABS-CBN with the company name. And then
Yeah.
I was like me, the dutiful daughter, and I was not taking it seriously. I mean, I was in second year of school. What do I know? I'm like, okay. I had no dreams anyway because you already shut down my dream to being an artist. So okay, let's do yours. Okay.
Okay.
So from second year high school to before at college, I was already being trained to be a flight attendant, like how to smile, how to stand up, how to walk, how to be that prim and proper lady that you need to be because you're gonna work in the plane and you need to be prim and proper and all that jazz. And then in college, I enrolled in the business course because the reason was it was the easiest course to get. Even without making an effort, I just need a diploma because I'm gonna be a flight attendant. Being a flight attendant is not course specific. You can be in any
Okay.
course that you want, just as long as you're a college graduate. That's the deal in the Philippines. Okay, I can't speak for other airlines in other parts of the world.
Interesting.
So so I just need the diploma. So easiest course, marketing management. Boom, shakalaka, diploma, apply. And thank you, Lord, I became a flight attendant because honestly, if I didn't get the job, I don't know what I would do with my life. Because imagine if from second year high school to college, that's all that I know. I'm gonna be a flight attendant. I was brainwashed, geared, molded to be a flight attendant. I was like Black Widow, being molded to become the Black Widow, but I was molded to become a flight attendant. If I didn't get that, it's like my whole life like shattered right before my eyes. So I'm just happy I got that dream. At least I'm not
Interesting.
a complete failure.
Interesting. But wow, I mean,
So that's why I'm here.
but still, the fact that the fact that it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's mind blowing. And at least there was nothing in the terms of the word regret that really didn't contradict the name of it, because some people will say, because now you mentioned you have the ability of doing many things as you please now, especially with the quarantine, and podcasting and discovering and self-discovering, which is good. But then, of course,
Yeah.
once the quarantine's lifted, some of it will be thrown again out of the window. But still, regardless, like I said, even if you're a hyperspace flight attendant, whatever they're gonna name it in the future, you're still an artist regardless. So it goes back to what you said, which is artist home. And I think that is the way you meant it. Artist home, wherever you live, wherever you go,
Yeah.
flight attendant, business, marketing, you still have to come back home, which is wherever you started. For us personally, it's art. For our listeners, probably
Yep.
it's music. For others as well. So
Right.
it's really wow. This conversation was electric. It's so electric. Even my microphone is getting electric. So
I know, right? I just heard it.
yeah, it's getting a little bit static here. So but I love it. I love the energy. I love the vibe that you're giving me. It reminds me of one of
Thank
my
you.
my favorite guests. So I think I am confident enough to say that you are in my top 10 of conversation.
Woo!
You've made it to my top 10 of my conversation. My top one conversation made me cry, and I will tell you the story after the recording. I'll tell you the story. Don't worry. So yeah.
Wait, the recording's not finished yet. I'll make sure I'll make you cry before this ends. No, I'm just kidding.
I love the confidence on that one because I love the confidence, and you said towards the end, but now of course we've sizzled the steak, the vegetarian steak. We've sizzled it, with seasoned it, we've put it in oil and all the stuff, and we ate it. We enjoyed the flight attendants, and we were sky high vibing, and I love it. Now, of course, my guest, my listeners would love to connect with you because I'm sure they love your energy and they love your vibe. How would they find you on
Thank
social
you.
media? How would they find you on social
All
media?
right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. So again, my name is Me-Ann Maximo. I am the host of Mabuhai Maxima, which is a under Pipe network. Hello. Hello, Team Pipe. Mabuhai Maxima is a self-help podcast. The tagline is self-grow or growing adult. If you're a growing adult and you're not offended by that, then congratulations, the podcast is for you. If you are offended by that, then listen to the podcast, and so that you'll know that you should not be offended by it. And you can catch me on Instagram. It's mrmaximoph. On Facebook, connect with me at Mabuhay Maxima, or you may check out my very new art shop. I make cute dolls. They're really, really cute. Of course, I make them. I'm going to say they're cute. It's Lartisana art shop, as in we're in the Philippines. Lartisana, like how a Filipino would spell it. Art shop. I make cute toys and whatnot. Yeah, but if you need anything podcast related, audio related, video related, gaming related, writing related, do hit up anytime on Facebook and Instagram. Again, it's mrmaximoph. So yeah, thank you so much.
To add to that, do not put beloved in your middle name.
Yep, that's taken already. Right.
Amen. So I want to thank my guest. We had a blast in this conversation, and it was crazy, electric, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see more of Me-Ann's work. Hopefully, probably, I'm looking forward to her projects as well. And all the links, by the way, folks, will be, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're seeing a pretty girl on YouTube, that's her. And I'm planning to make this a video cast and a thing. And then on Spotify, I'll be dropping all the links of everything that we've said, especially all the other stuff that we mentioned in part 1 and part 2. I want to say thank you to Me-Ann for being my guest. Thank you so much for
Oh, thank you so
accepting.
much for having me.
And I hope for all my listeners out there, you learned a thing or two, or you're at least entertained with this conversation. And with that in mind, folks, cheers, folks. And I will see you, and we will see you in the next episode.